Is up, everybody? I'm NoLucksGiven, and before we get into this video, I just wanted to ask you to please subscribe if you have not already. I put out new Storybook Brawl videos every day at 9:30 p.m. EST, so if you like what you see and you want to see more, hit that subscribe button. I am also a pretty small channel, so I do pay a lot of attention to the comments and the likes, so if you want to give me some additional feedback there, I will know what you guys like to see. Enjoy the video. So this game isn't going to be a super spectacular one, but I think that it is something that a lot of players do still get excited about when they talk about Storybook Brawl or share some of their sweet clips or things like that. And that is because we are going to be playing a Puff Puff game. And Muerte is one of the best heroes for Puff Puffs, possibly only usurped by Trophy Hunter, who is also in this lobby with us. But we're gonna be trying to make Puff Puff things happen, and I don't know that I was intentionally building for Puff Puffs when this game started. But Puff Puff did certainly get a buff recently, and as I talked about in my patch notes review, I do think that Muerte in general got a buff recently, namely because of the mummy now also appearing when you are level 3, as opposed to waiting to level 5 to get it. It just means that you can more earlier in the game receive an impactful use for your hero power. And I don't think that I really had any particular strategy that I was going to try to force when I set out to play this game. I don't know if I fully just got this sentence out or not. So I might have just said these exact same words, but what I was getting at is that this was around the time that I was watching a decent amount of Lolnenko's streams, so there is a chance that like Copy Boy was on my mind. But Copycat is also just good if you are playing Muerte, because it's going to trigger a death rattle and it'll trigger it twice. Last breath, sorry. And that double trigger will happen when you are triggering it from Copycat as well. So that was certainly just on my mind. I know we're going to be playing some Last Breath units, so Copycats are good whether or not we find some good boys to pair with them. Some Copycats will be a welcome addition to the squad. I think we're going to be losing this one. Actually, no. Yeah, there was no shot. Because if we attack the Black Cat, then the Cinderella attacks us, and then we lose to the Unicorn regardless. So no way around that one. Going to get a loss. 2 doubles in this shop is sweet. I don't see any last breaths, though. But it does look like I am moving things to make way for the Stags. And this is kind of tricky because there's no way that you can play both Stags, because if you do, you've got to sell a unit, and if you sell a unit, then you're not making full use of Fanny, which is basically just as powerful as the Stag. So how do you make everything fit here? It's possibly by selling Crafty and then playing 2 Stags. Okay, I agree with that. And this is a reasonably recent gameplay video as well. It was from earlier this month, so still probably 2 weeks old or something at this point, but on the current patch. And I'm going to agree with a little bit more of my plays, and my plays might be a little bit more front of mind as well. Looks like we should be able to win this one too. Yep, this one winning pretty easily. Still at 42. That was the other change to Muerte. Muerte got a bonus 5 health at the start of the game, and we took 3 damage. I guess we lost the first turn. So not quite going to be able to make it to a perfect game, but we can still do some nice stuff. We see 3 Ogre Princesses this turn. Gingerbread Party's not bad, especially because I'm thinking about the things that I'm going to want to pump up later, namely Good Boy, Friendly Spirit, Mummy. All three of those things are going to get additional benefits because their death rattle, their last breath, cares about their stats. So I do think Gingerbread Party 2 prepares for the future is a reasonable play with Muerte. Good Boy, I believe, right, was nerfed from a 3-3 down to a 2-2 on this patch. I believe that's the case. So we just unnerfed Good Boy, and that is one of the best strategies in the game, and especially with Muerte here getting an additional Good Boy trigger. So let's see. These stags are just gonna eat some dust here, unfortunately. But if this can, if that attacked into white, that would have been good. Oh, this trades. Yeah, we're gonna just barely lose this one. Take 4 more damage down to 38. But you know what? That's not that bad, all things considered. That is a Wonder Waddle with a treasure map, so that could be a little bit scary. We're going to upgrade our stag, and we've got the chance to take our own treasure map. But I'm thinking Merlin's Hat. That's kind of interesting. Eye of Ares can also be really good with Muerte. Like, imagine just taking Eye of Ares and then playing no last breaths and then 1 Princess Peep. That would be pretty cool. Shepherd Sling, cool for the same reasons, but Monster Manual is a really, really good Muerte treasure. We're going to take the Vampire because it is a monster, and I've got to make the choice here. Do I want a level 2 treasure for 6 gold and a health, or do I just want to start rolling for 4s, which could be powerful? But Monster Manual is very good on Muerte. Muy bonito on N. I guess you just say N, right? I forget. Muerte. And that is porque a lot of the last breaths that you want to play are monsters. The Mummy, the Monster Book, the Friendly Spirit. I knew there was one more really good one. And of those good last breaths, both the Friendly Spirit and the Mummy, of which we saw no mummies all throughout level 3, but they all scale based off of their stats. So the Monster Book, really good for them. Secret Stash is kind of interesting here, but I feel pretty strong. So I think for that reason, the Ring of Regeneration is probably just the pickup. I don't love Ring of Regen as 3rd treasure, but I think we take it here. Copycat is really tempting. I still have not found a single last breath unit. I've probably rolled past some Tweedledees. They just weren't super exciting to me. But I do think I want to try to pick up a Copycat to start doing Muerte things. I've got a pair of Labyrinth Minotaurs. I don't know what I want to... Like, I'm just probably locking this shop, so I'm selling for Crafty right now. And I just have to figure out what is worth selling. Should I sell the Fanny? Should I sell the Labyrinth Minotaur? Should I sell the Tiny? But I'm going to go ahead and sell the Labyrinth Minotaur and pick up the Crafty. Because the Crafty's big now. We sold it off earlier, but now it's an 11-11. So now we want it again, and we shall take it. They got a big Triply there, but our Stag is pretty nice too. Yeah, we got a decent shot to win this one. I think we do win this one here. Nice. Okay. So pretty good, and it's good to have just gotten to this point in the game as Muerte to be able to now start looking for stuff. And yeah, there's like wolf in sheep's clothing, but like that's not really the last breath that you want to copy. And then I see a Puff Puff, and I think I've said this before. in the video, but either way, it's probably like the thumbnail or something. This is a Puff Puff game. So we are going to be thinking about it for sure, but then taking the Puff Puff. And Puff Puff did receive a buff this patch as well. You see, I really want to roll. I'm really, really tempted to just roll this Puff Puff away here. But Puff Puff is a 7/7 now on this patch, and it's an 8/8 because we cast that gingerbread. I feel like this is early enough. One, this is early enough. And two, I just want to start casting something. I just want to start using my Muerte triggers in some capacity. That's what I meant by casting something. So I feel like I should use it or lose it, you know? Can't take it with you. So I am thinking about, well, not thinking about at this point. I'm saying, okay, let's go for the Puff Puff. There is also Lucky in this shop. Like, could have just gone for Lucky, and Lucky with Copycat does generate for you some extra gold and stuff, but let's make Puff Puffs happen. When else are you going to play Puff Puffs if not for a Muerte game? So going for the Puff Puffs, that is going to trigger twice from the Copycat, and after we kill that Hippocamp, it seems pretty unlikely that we will be able to have our Puff Puff die, because that's like almost the perfect thing for Puff Puff comps, is you want to tie every battle. So I'm going to go ahead and put the Puff Puff a little bit earlier in my positioning, so that way I might die. So that way the Puff Puffs might die and get an additional last breath. Then I finally find the mummy, and I'm like, do I want the mummy now? I don't know. I kind of just want more Puff Puffs. I'll see if we can like make this work or something. But the trick with Puff Puffs, you generally want to tie. I think I said that. I think I was going to say something else. I forget what else I was going to say, but doesn't matter. We find another Puff Puff here, and then we find another Copycat as well. So definitely interested in casting the pair of these units. I can just sell off the Golden Chicken and take the Copycat. And now my Puff Puffs are getting +4/+4 each turn. It's not too bad. I'm not sure what treasures you want alongside your Puff Puffs, and this has kind of been something that I've been thinking about. I mean, I guess I want boots, so that way I attack first, so that way I'm like guaranteed getting more Copycat triggers and stuff. But it's tricky. It's tricky to know exactly... Excuse me. Sorry about that. It's tricky to know exactly what you want to try to do with a Puff Puff comp to really bring it to scale. Opponent's got kind of a scary board position here. They're up to XP as well. So this could definitely be a player that we want to watch out for. And luckily the Puff Puff can survive. We're going to take some damage here. We're going to take even more as we give them our baby root. 15, not super fun, but at least our Puff Puffs all died. So that is something that you can take some solace in. And you know what? Maybe Ring of Regeneration is pretty good with Puff Puffs, because then you are gaining health as you're losing combats. Reduplicator? I don't think so. The Dwarven Forge gets us a level 2 treasure, but I think I'd rather just take the Moonsong Horn here. We've got Horn and we've got Hat, so maybe there's some other weird combinations of things that we can make work. And then, of course, we are going to grab a third Puff Puff here as well. Maybe having some cheaper spells will benefit us down the line too, who knows. And another Puff Puff. So I could sell 3 things to grab this right now. So that would be like, I mean, my dwarves, I suppose, right? Just sell off my dwarves, play another Puff Puff instead of the Vampire. I feel like that's got to be it. And then throw this Burning Palm on the Copycat. Nice. Okay, pretty cool. I don't really love the baby root here. I should maybe cut the baby root just so that way my Puff Puffs die, because I don't really want to give them like temporary in-combat bonuses. That's a pretty good swing though for us. And let's see, the Copycat goes in, and that's going to give us Gives us 1, 2, 3, 4. I think it gives us 5 triggers, right? And I think that's right based off of what they were at before. If they were at 17, I don't remember. But yeah, here's where things get awkward because our Puff Puffs are too strong. We kill Max here, but we get no additional Puff Puff triggers beyond the copycat. So once you get to a certain strength with Puff Puffs, it's awkward because you're like stronger than everybody, and then they'll outscale you, and it's like I don't know if I'm doing it right with my hands, but because I'm trying to make both of the graphs go from the same reasons or same places. You'll be here, they'll be here, and then they'll get stronger. And I guess you won't fall off. You'll just get slightly stronger, but eventually they'll pass you because you're not getting stronger enough. If you're stronger than your opponents and you're winning your combats, then you're not continuing to get stronger. So that's like this very weird element of these Puff Puff strategies. And I think for that reason, I'm just going to play a whole bunch of copycats. Maybe this third one gets attacked and it's a little bit awkward, but if it does get the opportunity to attack, then it'll be 2 Puff Puff triggers. And that is like one of the most important things to us is how can we still keep scaling in case our opponents are super weak. But we're playing against Skip here now. Skip will be level 6, and we'll have some level 6 units. We got some Puff Puffs. That is really unlucky as their huge unit attacks into our copycat, but our second copycat will get in there and give us 2 more triggers. But yeah, a little bit annoying. But you know what? Now we get to trade with Doubly. We probably trade 2 for 1 with White as well. And this could actually work out really well. Oh yeah, this is almost perfect. It's almost perfect because we are going to lose the combat because of that Tweedledee. But that's great. If you can clear all my Puff Puffs, hey, we're friends. If you can clear all my Puff Puffs and only hit me for 7, I guess it was. 7's kind of a big one, but we've got this Ring of Regeneration. So I think that is a pretty good treasure with the Puff Puffs. And I still haven't figured out what other treasures we actually want with them. Genie's Wish seems fine. Let's cast that here just for a free spell for the turn. And I'm really just rolling. I mean, like, XP or something could be good. This is a time where you could decide to start transitioning as well. But yeah, not really much to transition to. I did roll past a Puff Puff. I'm not sure if that was right. Maybe we'd put another Puff Puff in the comp. But yeah, the question is, I have another Puff Puff in my hand. No way we just play 7 Puff Puffs at some point, right? The copycat is just going to be way too good in terms of scaling us. Maybe like on the very last combat, we should play 7 Puff Puffs, probably, right? But before that happens, this seems fine. And like I said, just trying to scale as much as we can, and it's a balancing act between how much you can scale and how much you can puff. So here we go. This is going to put us up to pretty high here, now into the 40s almost. And then this will put us into 40 attack. Of course, it's 40 attack with the Ride of the Valkyrie, so not quite 40. And let's see, are they going to be able to clear another Puff Puff? Doesn't look like it. Doesn't look like it. So that's kind of what I'm talking about. It's a little unfortunate. Like, I'd rather win, especially against the Ghost. I'd rather win by less and grow my team more. But I threw away 3 points of stats on that battle. And that is actually 3 times 12 because it would be 3 of my creatures each getting plus 12 plus 12. Do I TLK and get the upgraded Puff Puff here? No, I don't. Okay. That would be asking a little too much. You know, Hercules could be cool. Try to grab a level 6 treasure, but you know what else is pretty cool? An upgraded Copycat. I like that a bunch. And 6 of shield seems fine. Is that better than +1/+1? Or do I want to toss Merlin's hat? Oh, I'll throw away the Ring of Regen at this point. Yeah, that seems fair here too. And then will I still purchase this spell? I'm not sure. It's +1/+1 on the Copycat, which is, it's important for Copycat to survive. My Storm King's actually rather big here. Grab the Storm King. Do I want another Puff Puff? I don't need it, but why not? No, I'm going to keep rolling. Okay, and there's a good boy and a Pigamorph, but I've decided that good boy is not good enough for us at this point, and I could try to dream into Trophy Hunter, but it's throwing away a lot if I miss, so I don't think I want to go for that. That's a really good hit, Puff Puff to trade with a pig, and then Copy Boy to get in there, or not Copy Boy, just Copycat to help me get a few more triggers, and then my second Copycat gets in, and this is looking like a pretty good combat, because I think there's a chance that, yeah, that second Puff Puff is now going to die. That first Puff Puff is probably going to die. Oh, that's a little bit awkward for the Siren, but their Puff Puff won't be buffed. Their Puff Puff, no buff buff. Great. And we tie. Oh, so that's perfect. That's perfect. We cleared our board. Now, we didn't deal any damage, and you do have to start dealing damage at some point, and that's where it's not perfect. And this is, I think, part of the problem with Puff Puffs is you're either winning, at which case you're not growing your board, or you are losing, in which case you're losing, and then you're growing your board, and that's kind of cool, or you're tying, which means you're growing your board, but your opponent is growing their board a little bit more, and just they're going to be able to outscale you there. So that's pretty awkward. Kind of talked over this as well, but I was looking for a knighthood this whole time. That's part of the reason that I actually like these treasures with just making some spells cheaper. Now I've got an upgraded Puff Puff, and if we can make it so that that is our first Death Rattle trigger, which is Last Breath trigger, which is possible with Copycat, as long as we attack first or they don't kill one of our other Puff Puffs, that Copycat will trigger our Puff Puff in position 5 to trigger 3 times, twice because of the upgraded Copycat and once because of Muerte, and this should give our board +6/+6 here to start off the combat. And then the second Copycat in position 2, will also affect that. So here is the +6. It's going to put us up to 59 on the normal Copycats, and then the second guy gets in. That's going to be +6 as well, because it's +2/+1 and +2/+1. So there we go. Everything gets up now to the 65s, then the 66s. We can trade one more time, and it would have been nice to get rid of the upgraded Puff Puff on the end of the combat there, but no matter, that is what we will do. Not going to look for the TLK still, not going to take this Merlin, just going to be searching for more knighthoods. And yeah, this is where I'm not really sure what else you are supposed to be doing with the Puff Puff strategy, because I think it's entirely possible that you should just be like buying other things to make some treasures. But that said, I don't know what those treasures are. Burning Palm is fine because it's free and we're out of coin, but I'd much rather get some more health on my Copycats. That's like the most important thing. But short of that, you know what? It's fine. Let's just keep rolling. Can't cast Witch's Brew either. I'm actually going to keep going and keep looking for spells just because I feel like in an awkward spot here, decently behind. And then I'm just going to settle on the hi-ho, save my chicken for next turn, and hope that we're able to make something happen. It's a very small change. I put my bigger Copycat in the second position, so that way it's just slightly more likely to survive and also be able to attack and trigger. But this is it. This is it. Like I said, I don't think that this video, this commentary is like super exciting, but I do know that Puff Puffs are interesting because they are unique, and I did share this endgame screenshot on the Discord, the official Storybook Brawl Discord, and I've shared it in some other places on some streams and stuff like that. I think it's exciting to get a Puff Puff this big. The actual game kind of plays itself. You just buy the Puff Puffs, but still exciting nonetheless. And we're going to lose, I guess we lose this combat either way, so that was the better attack. We take 7 damage, and that's what I'm talking about. Like, we grew our team, but at what cost? Do we consider taking the greedy just to grab a 4-cost treasure? I don't know. Doesn't seem like it gives us too much, but you know what? Nyan Sea Terror, I do think gives us some stuff, because now it winds up actually costing more gold than greedy, but 5-cost treasures are better anyways. I'm not sure though what, like, the best treasure. I can tell you the best treasure. It's Mirror Mirror, right? But what other treasures are good? Are there any other treasures that are good besides Mirror Mirror and Phoenix Feather? Or should you really just be trying to craft those 2 treasures when you are playing Puff Puff? Mirror Mirror is insane because your Puff Puffs come back not as 1/1s, but as basically 5 less or 6 less than what they currently were. So these Puff Puffs would come back as like 78s or something like that, because they also have gingerbread buffs on them. But they'd come back still as 70 units. The Copy Boys could also come back in and attack again, so that would like still be a route to play, but you'd probably just play 7 Puff Puffs at that point. And then Phoenix Feather comes back in, and it's the same thing. It's just the printed stats, so that one does not change at all. But yeah, it's definitely worth considering. Maybe the only way to really Puff Puff is to find that Mirror Mirror or something like that. This is going to be a tough battle because we are up against a really big Shoulder Fairy. We're going to get rid of the Shoulder Fairy here, but then, and my opponent's got a Cat's Call as well. That's really unlucky because it means we're just going to take 3 extra damage here for no reason. And luckily, even with that 3 extra damage, the Ring of Regeneration that we held on to for the longest time is going to be really useful for us there. We are going to roll a little bit more, just looking really for Knighthoods and Sea Terrors. Can't imagine we're really looking for anything else. We are playing against the Ghost. So even though we just had a pretty difficult time against that opponent, we are going to get a little bit of a reprieve here. We combine our Sea Terror, and then our options are Exploding Mittens and Hand of Midas. And while I'd love to Midas another Puff Puff or something like that, doesn't really do anything for us. So I think I just have to take Exploding Mittens and sub out the hat and hope that this is enough, because this is the only thing that adds like a little bit of stats to our board. So I do imagine that's what we're going to do here. I'm going to drop the 6 of Shields. Oh, that's interesting. I guess I'm really just banking on, one, the fact that I can get a free Poison Apple right here. That might be helpful. Doesn't seem like it'll be super helpful because I don't have any like small units, but maybe it allows the Copy Boy to trade with something. That would be sweet. Copycat. I keep calling it Copy Boy. Allows the Copycat to trade with something maybe with this Cursed Apple. So let's see. It lands on a Friendly Spirit, but not going to be super useful for us, and we're going to get our triggers here regardless. So we've made some pretty good Puff Puffs, but I think we're falling off now. I think we're going to find it tough to beat our real opponents here. But we'll see. I think that a second is still definitely possible. The Shoulder Fairy is really what I'm nervous about, if we're going to be able to beat that. But we're going to get a little bit of scaling here against the Ghost. Again, leaving some stats on the table. Could have been nice to have a Hercules at that point in the game, too. What am I going for here? Why did I sell that? Oh, I sold that because I want to find more. That's what I did. And I'm combining, looking for chickens, too, in the interim, to potentially get some boots, because that could be okay for me. But not like particularly anything crazy. So yeah, not like super set on that or anything. Pretty funny that the Storm Kings are 50-50 this game, just from like casting random spells here, having nothing else to do with my gold. Echo Wood I don't really think works. I mean, it's funny, but I just don't think it does enough. So We'll get rid of that, go for a free Mixawazzle, and we find a Celestial Tiger, and we're actually able to get the upgrade on Celestial Tiger. So that's a really funny way to end that here. And now, I guess Dracula Saber is pretty good. If I can get some kills early on, then we can Dracula Saber and just kind of keep trying to snowball in some capacity. Cast the Sugar and Spice because it's free. Didn't really have too much time to think about that Dracula Saber. Maybe it would have been best as a copycat too, but I mean, we're getting some free stats. It's worth something, and hopefully that can be good for us. But yeah, these ranged units are pretty tough. We will trade with both of my opponent's other soldiers. The problem is when we trade with, oh, that's a little bit unlucky. Actually, it's fine. But we are going to turn on their court wizards, is what I was getting at here. They clear our upgraded, and oh, this is going to be so close, isn't it? Yeah, unfortunately, we are going to die here, and yeah, not a super good placement either. We really couldn't beat either of these top two players. They had both done some really powerful things, and I think we deserved third place because what we did wasn't that powerful. And that's kind of my summation of Puff Puffs as well. But here's the screenshot if you want to see some of the biggest Puff Puffs I've been able to make, and I haven't seen anybody top these numbers either. These are real Puff Puff numbers too. You were here for it. You watched the game, you saw it. I think these numbers are big enough to clickbait, but unfortunately they're not going to be enough to win a lobby. So there you go. There is my Puff Puff game. Thank you guys very much for watching. I'm NoLucksGiven. Peace.